Welcome back. In this video we will discuss about welcome back. Yesterday in the previous class we discussed about what is the inheritance pattern, how the male zygote is formed, how the female zygote is formed, and how the genetic material is shared or is transferred from parental generation to offsprings, and what is the more importance of DNA when compared to RNA, and why it is present as a genetic material in most of the organisms. So all those details we discussed yesterday, and again I will add somewhat extension to that topic. So molecular basis of inheritance, molecular basis of inheritance. So accordingly, now yesterday we discussed about the structure of DNA, the biochemical structure of DNA, how it is made up of. DNA is a polymer of nucleotides. All the nucleotides, with the help of phosphodiester bond, they will link each other, and as a result of that bondage it will form a single lengthed strong polymer. And as we know that DNA is a double-stranded molecule, so these two strands are getting attracted with the help of hydrogen bonds, and among the single strand it is formed due to phosphodiester bond. So this one you have to know. And today the extensions are, the DNA has 5' end and 3' end, and it is having the character that is anti-parallel. For example, these two are parallel lines. But what is anti-parallel? If this line is drawing in this position, and if line is drawing in this manner, these two are anti-parallel, and this is parallel. So like this, here why we are telling the DNA is anti-parallel? That means if this strand is here starts with 5' and ends with 3' end, this strand, opposite strand, starts with 3' and ends with 5'. So here see, 5' to 3', and this strand 5' to 3', like this. So that's why the two strands are anti-parallel to each other. That's why the characteristic feature of the DNA is anti-parallel. And this is a right-handed helix. Next property, right-handed helix. The helix is turned towards the right hand. The helix is turned towards the right hand. See here, this is turned towards right-handed manner. So this is the features, some common features or the properties of the DNA, and these features are described by two scientists. Those are Watson and Crick. These are the properties given by two famous scientists, those are Watson and Crick. Now, how we decide this is as 5' end, this is 3' end? So for that, you have to see the molecular structure of DNA. Yesterday we discussed actually, and this is the extension for the yesterday's class. Here it is nitrogen base and oxygen is not there, so that's why deoxy at second carbon position. This is one nucleotide containing sugar, nitrogen base and phosphate moiety. Moiety means group. See now here, like this, the chain will be there in this manner. Now, we have to imagine here, these results in the, they will go outside in the form of H2O, and here phosphate bond is formed, PO4. Understanding? Now, what will happen? This is ester linkage, this is ester linkage. So results in the formation of diester bond. Yesterday we discussed this one. Diester bond, phosphodiester bond. Two ester bonds, that is di. That is linked because of phosphate. So phosphodiester bond. See, like this, and numerous nucleotides are arranged in the form of a chain, formation of a polymer with the help of phosphodiester bond. See, for example, this is the first one nucleotide in the polymer. See here, this is one chain, and here this one, and in between so many are there. In between so many are there, and this is the last one. This one. This is the last one, and this is the first one, and in between so many are there. Now I am taking the first one and last one. See here, the last one is having phosphate group, free phosphate, and here the first one is having free OH group, hydroxyl group. So the nucleotide which is having the free OH group without bonding with anyone, this is known as 3' end, and the nucleotide which is having the phosphate group, free phosphate, so this is known as 5' end. So in between, this is the first nucleotide, and this is the last nucleotide here, and in between so many are there. Imagine this is first, this is last, and this is first. So the having the nucleotide which is having the free OH group, so this group, free OH group, denotes the 3' end, and the last one which is having free phosphate group without bonding to the further, there is no nucleotide here, so it is having free phosphate group. So this is 5' end, and the next opposite strand is reverse. So 5' end will come this side, and 3' end will be opposite side. So that's how the anti-parallel nature arises for the DNA molecule. Understanding? Now, we will see the structure of RNA. See here, in the case of RNA, you have to observe the same ribose sugar, but it is having OH group. Here no OH group. Deoxy. The oxygen is removed and results into the formation of DNA. Okay, this is having OH group. Same, everything is same except that. And mostly the DNA is always 99% double stranded, and the RNA is 99% it is single stranded. That is the major difference. And here the nitrogen bases are adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil. But here adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. Adenine is bonded with thymine with the help of 2 hydrogen bonds, and guanine is bonded with cytosine with the 3 hydrogen bonds. And here the thymine is replaced by uracil, and these are same 2 hydrogen bonds and 3 hydrogen bonds. This is the major difference between the DNA structure and RNA structure. First one is OH group, and the second one is the nitrogen base, that is uracil. These are the two major differences, and it is single stranded. Understanding? Now, why nature selected the DNA as the genetic material for most of the organisms? Why nature selected? So you can observe whatever the organism you can take, 99% of the living organisms present on the earth, they are having DNA as a genetic material, and RNA as a genetic material in very less cases. That too, it is present in the viruses. So why the nature will always select the efficient organ or the efficient molecules? Why RNA is that much not efficient in case of storing the information, in case of storing the genetic information? Why? That means here we have to compare the DNA and RNA. What are the pros and cons of RNA, and what are the pros and cons of DNA? DNA is mainly more stable. DNA is more stable. This is less stable. RNA is less stable. Why? It is because DNA is double stranded, but RNA is single stranded. And DNA is less prone to mutation. That means very less percentage of mutations are happen in the case of DNA, but highly prone to mutations. That means, for example, if you observe a human being, our genetic material is continuously undergone mutations. For example, in my generation, I have this type of genes, X type of genes, and it is continuously and very quickly, if it is mutated, my son or my daughter will get Y characters. That means, for example, I have this much ear size, and that genes which regulates the size of an ear, if that will mutate, and the next generation it will have very small ear or very big ear. But all the human beings have same common features. If it is continuously mutated from one generation to another generation, means for example, after a few years, the human being is completely different from the human being at now. So the genetic information will be very stable. But here, in the case of RNA viruses, RNA having genetic material, it is continuously mutated. For example, take the coronavirus. The first wave, this is the virus belongs to first wave, and now this is the virus belongs to the second wave. The second wave is becoming more dangerous. Why? The genetic material present in the COVID virus, coronavirus, is RNA. It is continuously mutating and becoming more dangerous. And again, third wave is coming. That is still more dangerous. That's why the RNA containing viruses or RNA containing any organism will be mutated in a very quick manner, and the loss will be more for the human beings or any other cattle by virus infecting cattle, virus infecting human beings, virus infecting plants, So the effect will be more if the virus is or the pathogen contains the RNA as a genetic material. That's why the nature did not select RNA as a genetic material of all the organisms. The natural selection, the theory was given by Charles Darwin, which is fit for the nature. The nature will select that one only, survival of the fittest. And one more thing here, the RNA is having some usefulness also, benefits also, because we have the process of protein formation. So what it is? It means from DNA, mRNA will be formed. From mRNA, proteins will be formed. This case happens in all the organisms. In each and every cell, this process happens. For example, I am taking a cell. This is a cell, and this is the nucleus. This is the DNA. Now, for each and every function we need proteins. So how the proteins are formed in the cell? That means this is the process. This process is known as central dogma. DNA to mRNA, mRNA to proteins. From DNA, directly proteins will not be formed. First of all, this is the DNA. DNA, this nuclear membrane have pores. DNA will form some messenger into they will send that messenger into the cytoplasm. These are the different messengers. And we know that our cytoplasm contains ribosomes. Ribosomes may be present freely in the cytoplasm or present on the endoplasmic reticulum. Ribosomes are present on the endoplasmic reticulum like this. Like this. So either the free ribosomes which are present in the cytoplasm or the ribosomes which are present in the endoplasmic reticulum, they will take this mRNA and with the help of other RNAs like tRNAs, they will synthesize the proteins. So from DNA, mRNA will be sent to cytoplasm, and cytoplasm with the help of ribosomes, proteins will be formed. So ultimately, DNA is depending upon the RNA. DNA is depending upon the RNA for the manufacturing of proteins. And this process is known as transcription. Here we have to know how the transcription takes place. What is the process? And this process is known as translation. This process is known as translation. How this process will occur? See here, RNA plays how much important role. See here, you can observe proteins in the body cannot be formed from the DNA. It has to manufacture RNA, and from RNA we are preparing the proteins. Now, you can have a doubt. That means in the nature, which molecule is formed first? During the process of evolution, which molecule is formed for the first time? Either DNA or RNA. First of all, RNA was formed. RNA was evolved for the first time during evolution. And And the RNA is very unstable, and this is having another feature, that is catalytic property. Catalytic property. What is catalysis? That means the reaction, if the reaction is happened by the help of catalyst will increase the rate of reaction. For example, A plus B gives to C. If there is no catalyst here, for 1 hour, one molecule is formed. For example, if we use the same reaction with the help of a catalyst, it will give this product in 1 hour at least 1 million times. The rate of reaction will be increased. That is the usefulness of a catalyst. Here the catalyst may be enzyme or any other protein. But almost all the catalysts are proteins. But the exception is RNA will also act as a catalyst, which is not basically a protein. So this is the important point here. Again, I am repeating, all the proteins, almost all the catalysts, almost all the enzymes are proteins. If the sentence is like that, it is right. Almost all. But all the enzymes are proteins, that is false statement. Because the RNA, which is not biochemically a protein, but it is performing the catalytic functions. So this is the great exception of a protein nature, of an enzyme. So the RNA which is acting as a catalyst or which is acting as a enzymes, we are calling that as ribozyme. That is called as ribozyme. The RNA which is acting as a catalyst, RNA which is acting as an enzyme, that is known as ribozyme, not ribosome. So don't be confused. This is not. This is right. Okay. That's why it is catalytic. So its function is not that one. So nature slowly modifying the RNA, and from RNA DNA is formed. From RNA DNA is formed by removing this OH group. This OH is responsible for the unstableness and the catalytic property. So that's why the nature emitted that oxygen group from the RNA structure, and that leads to the formation of DNA. And uracil is also the catalytic nature. So that's why the uracil is replaced by thymine in the DNA. And DNA is double stranded and the RNA is single stranded. So that's why nature slowly selected DNA which is evolved from the RNA. So this is how the nature selects the DNA as a genetic material. Now, in exam, they can ask a question which is like, a DNA molecule contains 30 adenine thymine base pairs and 60 guanine cytosine base pairs. And another DNA molecule contains 40 adenine thymine base pairs and 20 guanine cytosine base pairs. For example, this is the DNA here and this is the DNA here. So they are telling adenine thymine, guanine cytosine. Like that, like this, there are having 30 adenine thymine base pairs, and like this guanine cytosine base pairs, they are having 60. And here adenine thymine, this like this 40, and guanine cytosine is like 20. So for breaking of these strands, which type of strand needs more energy? For breaking, we need energy because they are bonded by hydrogen bonds. For breaking, which DNA molecule which DNA molecule needs more energy? More energy. Tell me if you can. Here we have to observe what is the force which is attracting these two strands. These two strands, already I told you that, are attracted by, for example, this is adenine and this is thymine. This is guanine, this is cytosine. These two strands are attracted each other with the help of hydrogen bonds. So here we have to calculate the number of hydrogen bonds. In this case, adenine thymine is bonded by 2 hydrogen bonds. So 30 into 2, we are having 60 hydrogen bonds, and here 60 into 3, guanine and cytosine are bonded by 3 hydrogen bonds. So total here 60 plus 180, 240. So in this DNA molecule we are having 240 hydrogen bonds. Now calculate this one. 40 into 2, 80. 20 into 3, that is 60. So here we are having only 140 hydrogen bonds. So simply we can see, if the bonds are more energy is needed to break those bonds. So in which case the bonds are more, here we are having 240 bonds, hydrogen bonds. So for breaking of this DNA molecule we need more energy. So this maybe they can ask in the question exam. And with respect to DNA, we want to know some things. Already I told you that anti-parallel nature and what is 5 prime, what is 3 prime end. So after this we have to know a turn or helix. What is a turn and how many base pairs are present in that turn? From here to here there is a turn. So one helix or one turn contains 10 base pairs. That means total 20 nitrogen bases we have. 20 nitrogen bases. Understanding? For example, like this, if you take the helix, adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, like this. This one arranged in this one. So the length of DNA which is containing 10 base pairs, that is called as a one turn. And here the length of one turn is 3.4 nanometers. 3.4 nanometers. And the length between one base is 3.4 nanometers. So 0.34 into 10, that is 3.4 nanometers for one turn. Like these things are the basic physical features of a DNA. And DNA is evolved from the RNA. And why DNA is more stable? It is having double-stranded nature and it is very less prone to the mutations. That's why from one generation to one generation the genetic material is very stable. And one more thing, the basic DNA is same for each and every species. For example, in one species like monkeys, we have X number of chromosomes. In rats, we have Y number of chromosomes. In human beings, we have Z number. That means this number is different from one species to one species. So by knowing the number of chromosomes, we can decide the species also. For example, only I gave you a cell. I didn't show you the animal. For example, this is a cell of zebra. This is a cell of monkey. This is a cell of pig. Now, from this cell, I will isolate the DNA, that means chromosomes, and I will map the chromosomes. So, by counting the number of chromosomes, I can tell this cell belongs to zebra, that cell belongs to monkey. Like that also we can say. That means the number of chromosomes are specific for each and every species. But in the species itself, human being, we are having 46 chromosomes. Rats having 42 chromosomes, that is 21 pairs. But each and every human being is not looking like the same. Even the identical twins are not same according to their DNA structure. They can see same by seeing their external appearance, but their DNA structure is also not same. See how it is possible? The number of chromosomes is same, but the arrangement is different between each and every organism of a species. Like that, for example, we have phone number. Phone number. It is having 10 digits only. But your phone number is not same with my phone number. Like that, how many phone numbers are there? At least 30 crores or 40 crores phone numbers are there. So each and every phone number is not same. Like that, but the number of digits is 10 only. But then the same phone number will not be there between two candidates. Like that, the number of chromosomes are same, but the arrangement of that number, the arrangement of this bases is different. So this is the best example we can define the specificity of DNA from one organism to the another organism. Like, for example, landline number. It is having 6 or 7 digits. So this is, you can assume the landline number as another species, and mobile number, this is another species. It is having 10 digits and it is having 6 or 7 digits. And the people which are having landlines, they do not have same number, like the same. So this is the specificity of the DNA, and that's why the nature has chosen the DNA as a genetic material, because it is very stable from one generation to another generation, and it is passed in the form of gametes. But if it is RNA, continuously it will prone for the mutations, and slowly after 100 years the species may not be the looking like now. So these are the differences between the DNA and RNA, and the stableness of the DNA is more when compared to the stability of the RNA. In the next video, we will discuss about the contribution of different scientists, and the contributions of scientists by doing what type of experiments to prove that DNA is more stable, and DNA is inherited from one generation to the another generation. Like that, tomorrow in the next class, we will see all those details with the specificity of different experiments. For example, transformation experiments. Griffith was done transformation experiments, and Hershey Chase was conducted different types of experiments to prove that DNA only passed from one generation to one generation. That means in the gametes, DNA is shared. One copy of DNA from the mother, one copy of DNA from the father, and they will fuse together and form the zygote again. That means the offspring contains the characters of paternal side, that means father side, and it is also having the characters from the maternal side, that means mother side. So how they are described, with what type of experiments they demonstrated all these postulations, we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.